What if you had the ability to live forever? It's a question that both fictional supervillains and Silicon Valley billionaires have pondered for a long time. While it is undeniable that aging is harmful to human health, we have made tremendous progress in understanding the underlying systems that govern aging and late-life illness. Nevertheless, the Japanese government has begun actively funding national research initiatives in the hopes of discovering a cure for aging, and they have already seen some promising results. In this video, we will show you the fountain of youth. Before we get into the video, don't forget to drop a like on this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Make sure that the post notifications are turned on so that you never miss a video from us. Without further ado, let's dive in. Japan is the world's leader in terms of longevity, according to the World Health Organization. In 2018, the country's average life expectancy was 84.2 years, compared to 78.5 in the United States, and it also ranked first in terms of average health life expectancy, 74.8. Japan, on the other hand, hasn't always been at the top. Since 1951, when the average longevity in Japan was much lower than that of developed nations throughout the world, it has increased by more than 20 years, demonstrating that significant progress may be done. Many scientists are now concentrating their efforts on figuring out what Japan has done so well in recent history in terms of increasing longevity. Lifestyle, diet, education, genetics, and robust healthcare and pension systems are all suspected of having played a role. Despite having one of the world's oldest populations due to low birth rates, the country is investing in new medical solutions to assist its residents to live even longer, healthier lives, which is especially important as the baby boomer generation approaches retirement age. Now, researchers in Japan claim that successful trials of vaccination against cells that contribute to the aging process have taken a step towards increasing human longevity. A series of seminars have been organized by the American Federation for Aging Research, a nonprofit organization for renowned scientists and doctors to determine what they are and how to treat them. The specialists agreed that figuring out what makes the biology of people who lived for more than a century unusual is now a pressing issue. The vaccination may be utilized to treat vascular stiffness, diabetes, and other aging-related conditions. The findings of the researchers were published in the journal Nature Aging's online version. The researchers from Tokyo's Juneto University found that a treatment targeting a protein found in senescent cells, cells that have naturally stopped replicating themselves, delayed the course of frailty in older mice in laboratory testing. The vaccination also successfully targeted senescent cells in adipose tissues and blood arteries, implying that it could benefit other age-related medical disorders. Cells become senescent when they stop multiplying themselves, which commonly happens as a result of natural DNA damage. Cellular senescence is expected to play a role in the aging process, as well as age-related illnesses such as Alzheimer's and cancer. MECIP was part of an international group of scientists from universities in the United Kingdom, Spain, Nigeria, and Saudi Arabia that released research on new ways to deal with senescent cells. Because the biological process of aging is so complex, it's unlikely that a single technique will be able to totally stop or reverse it. However, there are likely a number of ways to slow it down, and eliminating senescent cells to appear to be one of the simplest and most effective ways. According to MECIP, preventing the accumulation of senescent cells increased the lifespan of mice by 15% in laboratory tests. Similar tests have shown increases of up to 35% in the past. However, before you get too enthusiastic, keep in mind that scientists are yet unsure how much a living creature's lifespan can be extended. This is a fascinating subject, and one on which we have yet to reach an agreement. Some believe there's a hard limit to a human lifetime. Current estimates are around 130 years. While others argue that immortality should be possible on paper, it's still too early to tell how much longer life can be extended and whether or not there is a limit. According to the researchers, the new vaccine had fewer side effects and lasted longer. Centenarians account for less than 0.02% of the UK population. They do, however, outlast their contemporaries by almost 50 years. What's the secret to their success? Centenarians are known to live long lives due to their exceptional health. They live roughly 30 years longer in good health than other individuals, and they only get sick for a brief time. They benefit directly from morbidity compression, but society as a whole benefit as well. The cost of medical treatment for a centurion in their final 2 years of life in the United States is roughly 1/3 that of a person who dies in their 70s. Children of centurions are also healthier than the overall population, indicating that their parents passed on something beneficial to them. Are centurions role models for living a healthy lifestyle? Or is this a hereditary or environmental factor? When compared to people who do not do any of these things, losing weight, stop smoking, drinking moderately, and eating at least 5 servings of fruit and vegetables per day can increase life expectancy by up to 14 years in the general population. This discrepancy is greater than that found in the UK's poorest districts. It would seem obvious that it would play a role in the company's long-term survival. Interestingly, this isn't always the case. Based on one study, up to 60% of ASHKENAZI Jewish centurions have smoked heavily for the majority of their lives, having been overweight for the same period. Less than half exercise even moderately, and only 3% are vegetarians. When compared to contemporaries with the same food intake, affluence, and body weight, the progeny of centurions appear to be no more health conscious than the general population, with half the occurrence of cardiovascular disease. Is it possible that uncommon genetics is to blame? If that's the case, there are 2 possible outcomes. People with the condition may have rare genetic variants that lengthen life expectancy, or they may lack common genetic mutations that cause late-life disease and impairment. A number of studies have found that centurions had the same number of deleterious genetic variations as the overall population. Even though some people have 2 copies of the largest known common risk gene for Alzheimer's disease, they do not develop the disease. So, rather than a lack of harmful genetic changes, a viable working hypothesis is that centurions have a lot of rare, helpful genetic mutations, and the best available evidence supports this. Approximately 60% of centurions have gene mutations that affect the genes that control growth in childhood. It means that these extraordinary individuals are human examples of a form of longevity extension seen in other species. At the same time, lab mice with dwarfing mutations can live longer than their full-size counterparts. Reduced amounts of growth hormone, called IGF-1, could be one reason for this, albeit human centurions are not always shorter than the rest of us. Growth hormone is obviously required early in life, but there is growing evidence that high levels of IGF-1 in mid to late life are linked to an increased risk of late-life illness. The exact mechanism underlying this are unknown, but women with the lowest amounts of growth hormone live longer than those with the highest levels, even among centurions. They also have improved cognitive and motor skills. However, this does not solve the issue. Centurions vary from the rest of us in a number of ways. They have good cholesterol levels, for example, implying that there could be numerous reasons for their longevity. Centurions are natural experiments that shows that you can live a long and healthy life even if you were dealt a risky genetic hand and choose to ignore health warnings, but only if you had rare, poorly known mutations. Scientists should be able to produce new medications or other interventions that target biological processes in the current tissue at the right time if they can figure out how they work. If these ideas become a reality, more people than we believe will live to see the next century. While scientists have long questioned whether the human lifespan has an absolute limit, a statistical analysis of centurions published in Science in June 2018 reveals that there isn't one. While scientists have long questioned whether the human lifespan has an absolute limit, a statistical analysis of centurions published in Science in June 2018 reveals that there isn't one, with death risk plateauing beyond age 105. This discovery may be excellent news for Kane Tanaka, the world's oldest known living person, who is currently 116 years old. What are your thoughts on this anti-aging vaccination, and would you be willing to try it? Do let us know in the comments section below. Also, make sure that you like this video, comment down your thoughts regarding this video, and also do not forget to subscribe to our channel to stay updated about the latest videos. Until then,